a lot of the people who are not in the military, when they think of military, the first thing they think of is violence and killing, right? And since we're talking about achievement through merit, a lot of people may connect that more violence might equate to more merit, or condoning of violence might equal to more merit. Could you guys be able to elaborate on like what exactly merit is in the military for laymen, for us?
And this hippie right here was in the Korean military, so back when his hair was a lot shorter.
In the military, everybody knows that there's like a possibility that when you deploy that you would have to see combat and kill. But I don't think that for most people that's the first thing that's on their mind most of the time.
In the military.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I feel like truly goes into merit is just competency again, and just fulfilling your job. And if you go into combat, then just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, got you. Mark, do you have anything to add to any of that?
I agree with what he just said. I think it's all based on competence and your ability to accomplish your mission. And believe me, from a soldier's point of view, last thing any soldier wants to do is go and kill. We always look for peaceful means in trying to resolve conflict through resolution.
Mm-hmm.
As an infantryman, we all wanted to do our job, which involves killing.
All right, I'll just let it go right there, Dave. Do you have a question? Okay, Ian from Kansas City says, being raised as a military brat, I feel my parents instilled manners that aren't common in civilian life, okay? Like saying yes, sir, no, sir. Let's go with Stefan first. Do you feel like, you like learn a certain manners that that a lot of people don't get?
I mean, I don't agree with it personally, because for me, I was easily able to separate my military life from my civilian life.
But do you feel like you brought some of that back with you from the military?
Yes.
So, that like yes sir, no sir kind of.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I think like with my dad, he definitely just instilled a lot of like respect for just like everyone in general, not just like people above you, and just being very like understanding, but also like I don't think he really would ever like get mad or anything if we didn't say like sir, ma'am. But then when I did join ROTC, then that's when I feel like I do that now. I don't do that as much anymore on the daily, but like in kind of a professional setting, like you best believe that I'm gonna be saying that. Yeah, you really learn that. Mark, do you have any response to Ian's comment?
I agree with all three of them. I think when you're in the military, you learn respect more, and just by calling people sir and ma'am, it's just out of respect. I've learned to do that more. Even the people at my office, even the cleaning ladies who cleans our offices, I always say good morning, ma'am. How are you doing? And even my students who are majors and I outrank them, I call them sir because they're subject to deployment, and just out of respect.
So David from Ohio says, I served in the Air Force from 92 to 2000. The military was the most socially, racially, and culturally diverse environment I've ever been in. It was more merit-based than civilian life. Do you see any flaws in human-created metrics with human-written reviews? Oh my God, that's such a cool question. Are there any, the fact that it's so merit-based, are there any flaws in that? Mark, I'm going to start with you, actually. And then, what are the flaws in having life be so merit-based?
I think the military is merit-based in a lot of ways. If you take a look at readiness, you have to take a look at equipment readiness. You have to take a look at personal readiness. You take a look at PT tests and see if how many people can pass their personal fitness tests. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is based on metrics, but the metrics help people achieve higher standards, which is related to merit.
Are there any problems with doing that? Do you see any? Do you guys see any problems with doing that? Yeah. It's just the problems of being just so merit-based. It's like boom, boom, boom. Do this, then do that, and do this, and do that, and that's how you get ahead.
So I would say like there's a lot of the work that's done in the military that like people don't realize is like it requires a lot of intelligence, and like if you're not intelligent, then you wouldn't be able to do that job well. And there's a lot of people that's super intelligent in the military that aren't physically to the same standard as their peers.
Yeah.
But they make up for it by being so competent in their job.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to promotion, that gets overlooked because they aren't at the same physical standards as everyone else, even if they're as competent in their job or more
yeah.
competent than everyone else.
So there could be all sorts of, like it's complicated to build the right structure and have the right balance. Yeah.
Because we're also talking about merits, right? And a lot of the people who probably don't know a lot of the military, but are in school, knows about the ROTC and going into as an officer and the difference between those two. And some people may assume like that automatically places the people in ROTC in a different marital system. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, how much of that is true? Like, how much of that, like, are you automatically placed in a different spot, and how much is it not true? As in, you're gonna, prevail anyways, regardless of if you're enlisted or an officer through ROTC.
Do you have a response to that? Anybody have a response?
So you're specifically asking how do we see merit in regards to officers and enlisted?
The difference between the officers and enlisted is it's not entirely merit-based. It's oftentimes training-based.
Got it. Well, like what training you get.
Yeah.
Got it.
Officers generally have gone to college, they've gone to OCS, and they've been specifically trained to lead soldiers. Whereas enlisted, you sort of start at the bottom as enlisted. As an officer, you don't start at the bottom of the military hierarchy in the same way as if you're enlisted. If you're enlisted, you're a private. If you're like a butter bar, like a second lieutenant in the Army, you still have leadership over people, but you've been hopefully trained to be competent in that leadership role. So it's not entirely competence-based. There's an element of training, but hopefully the training correlates enough with the competence that it all evens out in the end.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead. Yes. Stefan.
So I disagree with that to a certain extent because at the same time, like every officer rank will have a enlisted to advise him. Like for example, with a lieutenant colonel usually has a sergeant major in the Marine Corps, and he basically is the gap between enlisted and officer, and he basically helps mentor everyone while also advising the officer. So I feel like it goes hand in hand.
Got you. So it's like back and forth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Izzy, can you go to Timmy's question? From Baghdad commented, I know someone touched on this earlier, but could you talk about the way the military is depicted in movies and how it really is?
I think that in real life, the Army, from my point of view, is different than it is in the movies. The Army is based off of people's lives and getting the mission done and taking care of soldiers and their families. I think a lot of the movies are comedy. They're written so that people would want to watch the shows. But I don't think it actually portrays what the military is like in real life.
Yeah, there's definitely, necessarily for entertainment purposes, it's going to be glorified in a certain way and portrayed in a certain light for mass consumption. The military is it's very mission focused, and
So it's just blown up.
Yeah,
but as someone
yeah.
who's been deployed, it's like most of your time you're not dodging
Yeah, no, that's
bullets and
absolutely
stuff.
true. We dodged bullets like once, and that was it.
Once, all right. Okay. Brittany, do you have a quick response to that question?
Just like I would agree that it's like a little less action packed on like the daily. Like obviously you'll like find yourself in like a pickle and all that, but yeah, like from what my dad's told me and stuff, like it's pretty chill, like because he was flying just a cargo plane, so
Yeah, no, I hear that.